If your teenager is not handing in assignments, refusing to go to school, and failing courses or a grade, I want you to listen to this. I was a gifted student and I did fairly well in school. I didn't really have to try. I was also told I never lived up to my potential, even though I got straight A's. By grade 10, school was beginning to be challenging for me because my photographic memory wasn't enough to get good grades, and I didn't have the study or coping skills to know how to do anything differently. In grade 11, I was placed in advanced academic classes, and I had no idea what I was doing. I couldn't just look at things, remember it, and get good grades. I needed to learn how to apply the knowledge, how to actually process, problem solve. None of those things I'd ever had to do before. I was terrified and I hid it from my parents. I was raised in a home where my father skipped 3 grades. I was expected to get straight A's, and the one time I got a B, I was grounded. So do you really think I was going to tell them that I was struggling? Now, you might think that asking for help seems obvious. Just go ask for help. I was so ashamed to ask for help because I was the smart kid. I was the one everyone came to ask for help. So for me to then go and ask the teacher for help, I didn't know how to be that person. I didn't know who that was. Self-esteem in the adolescent brain drops up to 30%. So teenagers are already wildly insecure. The last thing I was going to go do was ask for help because I was already in my own giant shame storm of what an F up, failure, not smart enough, stupid, all of the things. I started skipping school and my grades went from straight A's to F's and failing out. My parents loved me and they wanted the best for me. So they punished and consequenced to attempt to get me to care, to attempt to get me to show up to class, to try and put higher levels of monitoring on me. And because they did not know any different, they used shame and derogatory remarks as pain points to spur me into action, to getting back to being who they needed me to be to look good as a parent, who they wanted me to be, who they knew I could be, but I could not. My parents did what they felt was right, what you may feel was right, focusing purely on your teenager's behavior, only what you see that is undesirable to you. My grades continued to slide as I internalized the message that I was a failure, I was unlovable, I was unacceptable, I was shameful, embarrassing, and I hated every part of myself. In March of my grade 11 year, I attempted to take my life. I felt so misunderstood, so unheard and unloved at home. I didn't see a way to end the pain. And yes, there had been more going on for a number of years, but this whole situation was a big part of it. I managed to scrape by in grade 11, failing some classes that I redid in grade 12. And I got myself back on track without any external support of any kind by figuring out what habits and strategies worked for me and graduated as the top academic, top athletic student in my high school. Here's what I desperately wanted my parents to understand. My behavior was only a symptom of what was going on. My behavior was not the problem. My mental and emotional health was the problem. And the harder they pushed, the more they shamed, the more they blamed, used punishment and consequences to attempt to get me to change my behavior. That sent my mental and emotional health on a faster downward spiral. I wanted them to tell me that they loved me. I wanted to know that they were going to help me and support me. I needed to know that struggling was okay. I needed to know that not knowing the answer was okay. I needed to know that not knowing didn't make me dumb or less lovable. I needed to know that they would help me find a way through no matter what it looked like, and they would love me unconditionally. I never got that from them. Those were gifts that I gave myself. If your teenager is struggling in school, not handing in assignments, refusing to go, or even failing, and you continue to purely pay attention to the behavior, believing you can make them care or spur them into action through constant punitive action, you are part of the problem. Your teenager's mental and emotional health is not okay. And even though they may not tell you if you ask, because there currently is no trust and safety between you, you can still be an advocate and help them get support and stop driving home that they are a failure and not performing in a way that makes them lovable to you. Just because you don't see the brokenness inside doesn't mean that it's not true. I've been working with parents of teens for the last 16 years now, and I am extremely passionate about parents of my generation better understanding the emotional and mental health impact of their teenagers and how that shows up in their behavior, yet how to actually improve their behavior by connecting at the emotional level, the source where things are all going on, and build the trust, true belonging, and meaningful connection with your teen so that you can truly be an advocate and support to them rather than them shut you out and drive you away purely out of survival. If you'd like to know more about my scientifically backed, proven strategies and tools to help you as a parent, to help your teen become the best person that they can be with solid mental and emotional health, and you having a resilient and connected relationship in the process, tap on my name, then the link in my bio for the Empowered Parent Mastermind.